On the escalator again.
Leave it alone.
What?
Comics.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
TV and movies. Wrestling. Music.
We are just getting started!
Finally, a podcast about things you actually care about, hosted by a couple of guys who actually care about those things too.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Maybe a little too much.
Yes, that's awesome.
The talented one, Chris Machete.
That no-talent ass clown became famous.
And Brenton, you know, that guy from your other favorite podcast.
I liked it. I was good at it.
So grab onto the handrail and don't let go.
I'm gonna get a medic! There's a little boy caught the escalator!
This is the Kids on the Escalator podcast.
Woo!
Here's CM and BD.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
The show has begun, actually.
Yes, hello.
Good, man. What's shaking? You were under a shit ton of snow, aren't you? Don't you guys have
not that much snow? It's cold.
No.
It's not that much snow.
Really?
Buffalo and New York apparently got the most snow, but it's cold here. But I'm okay with it. It's good. I'm gonna get a rink going in the backyard soon. It's all good, man. Canada.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the sooner it gets here, the sooner it'll be gone.
That's like a couple of weeks away from the rink. They're really cold. That's like a couple of weeks away for the rink. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna get one of those padding things this year, and we'll see how that works, right? So apparently, it just has to stay in the minuses, and you're good.
I know.
Have you tried that?
Well, back in the day, I had one back in like Caesarea.
Oh no! These are new. I'm sure you've come a long way since then. But yeah.
Yeah. There's a pad you put down, and then it just freezes, and then it's a whole thing.
This one comes with a cushion on the side that goes around. You know what I mean? So it kind of stays even and whatnot. And it costs like $130, so it should be a little more advanced than the one you got back then. I'm hoping.
Yeah, the other one was tarp.
Well, see, that's what my wife was like. Could you throw a tarp down? And I'm like, how many reasons can I give you? No.
Well, it was tarp, and then you filled it up with water, and then the water would do the thing, and all that stuff. So
I'm gonna get some new one going on. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good. And it's really cold, but I'm okay. Get more work done inside, right?
Yeah. It's been amazing. We've had the best weather here. It's been awesome. So it's finally going to rain in the next couple of days. So, get all the Christmas shit up and all that stuff. But all the neighbors are all in it, but they're all Johnny on it. I don't know when you put your shit up, but I don't put mine up I'm like a December 1st guy, but whatever.
This year we had one of those huge fake trees that was in it looked like what it was. You're keeping not one body in there, but two bodies in there. You know what I mean? Oh my God, carrying it around. And we finally sold it this year because it's just mammoth. It's huge.
Oh, you sold it? Yeah, someone actually bought it.
Oh, in a heartbeat because there was something to do with the ultra fiber optic thing that the cats wouldn't chew and eat. So that little item went quickly. That item went right away, my friend. And basically what we did was we parlayed that money and just bought like a little small tree. And we had like $20 to spare for some beer from me after. So it was all good.
There you go.
So we downsized our tree this year. I got the hooks up outside. I just got to put the lights out. I just got to get some beer and some motivation. And I'll get the lights up. A lot of the neighbors have them up. Some of them are really going to town. I should have took some photos because it's pretty cool. We have a lot of younger families around here that really go for it, which I really enjoy. Yeah. And it's been, but it's been fun. I'm actually looking forward to Christmas this year. I'm got some key things I want to ask for from Santa, and I'm stoked. It's going to be a fun Christmas.
Yeah, I got my sister coming in. What else? And I'm actually home leading up relatively early, which is great. That never really happens very much. So so it's good to just chill. I talked to Taylor today, and she looks like she gets home just before Christmas. So it's going to be a good one for you.
She's going out with the Bare Naked Ladies on tour up until the 23rd or the 22nd, I believe. I think maybe tour is on 22nd.
Yeah, 22. I think she's home on 23, which is great. Good for her. Rad tour for
congratulations, Taylor. She's my daughter. She's what's her title on that tour? She told me, but I can't remember what you guys do.
Well, I think she's a production assistant on that. So that's
so she's the production assistant on the Bare Naked Ladies tour upcoming here.
Which is a very, if not the most important job for a band. You've got your tour managers and your production managers, but then there's the glue, and she'll be the glue.
Mm-hmm. Which is really, really cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of my daughter. I'm excited for her going out there, and she was just here for a visit, which was cool. She ran the JJ Wild show here in Kingston.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool for her, given that she got
to hang out with the old tribe of hers, and that was great. Yeah. I got the invite to go down, but of course I'm old.
What time is that show going to be on there?
Yeah. Lonnie wasn't feeling good over the weekend too, so it was a pretty mellow weekend, dude. I discovered though painting. I got a bunch of canvases and I started painting. So
Oh,
I
like
kinda
you
dove into that.
like old school, like old
Yeah,
style.
like painting on canvas. I got this wicked so I'm really anyway, you know my art style's really dark, right? So I got some
Yeah.
cool stuff on the go. It's all dark, but it's pretty decent. I got a wicked Joker that I just finished. It's like the light source is on the one side of his face and it's really silhouetted and he's just smiling so friggin' creepy. And
But what's
go ahead.
the style on the canvas though? That's a different thing.
My
That's
style.
like
It's my style, but I did it on canvas. Man, it's hard. You'd have to see it. I should have brought it in here, but
but you're not doing like you're doing characters. Or you're actually going to just do like colors. And
I
shit?
just started off doing some stuff that was comfortable for me. I did a Carnage. I did a Joker, and when my wife wants me to do a Joker Batman or a combo of the style that I'm doing, like the white silhouette kind of thing of them, and we're gonna have the matching set for downstairs, and then I'm not sure. Silver Surfer would lend itself well to the style that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And then eventually I want to get into some like fine art painting, I guess, because everybody seems to be buying the crap out of that stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
well, they do, but there's also like the one red dot. If people
see, that's what I'm fighting. I've always been opposed to that.
I know you've always been opposed to that, but I mean, it's everyone's definition though. It's everyone's kind of like what is cool in someone's house. I got a buddy of mine that does some stuff out here, and then he ends up putting it on like that glass finish.
Yeah,
and it's kind of cool. So he actually paints on a glass thing, and then it does, but it's a certain style. And I'm like, that's cool because it's like it's nothing like you would think per se, like from the standpoint of like, it's not that like it's a Monet or it's a this or that. It's just like a cool kind of.
What I'm doing right now, you can tell it's a Cochrane. You can tell a big comic book signature on it. You can tell what it is right now. I've only done 2, but I just did them over the weekend. I did 2 paintings over the weekend. I'm just finishing them off tonight. Really, just going back over. I'm not super happy with them. You know what I mean? But I'm getting there. So,
but how do you fit? So do you do them and then you got to gloss them and then you got to like.
I gotta finish them all off that way. Yeah. So
interesting. Yeah.
We'll see what it leads to. I'd love to be able to like take an emotion of like some kind of something and parlay it into a nice dark painting that I like to do. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's got me thinking though. It's funny because you look at I'm just to switch gears here. The Marvel universe and the burnout on Marvel right now, right, buddy? You look at something like The Boys, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You got it's real life, basically. It's like, what if Superman was evil? And they show you the repercussions of what happened in some graphic detail when we're seeing that. Now, and there's not a lot of The Boys to watch. You've got one series. It's not like you've got 5 spin-offs, 10 spin-offs like Marvel had. So you have this small segment of true life superheroes, right? You know what I mean? Kind of like, The Walking Dead came out of Night of the Living Dead, all right? Marvel has so much stuff out there that it's all controlled by one specific domain, we will say.
Yeah.
So it's all this steady, it's the same vibe coming along. You know what I mean? Whereas when you get The Boys, it's not. It's like, what the hell in one way, what the hell in another way? Because it's more lifelike. It's more true to life. Now, what we've got with Marvel and DC is all us fanboys are just happy that these movies can be done properly now. Oh, but look at Superman fly and look awesome. Look at Black Adam, look amazing, and be able to do all the cool things like the movie you just saw there.
Yeah.
This proper Daredevil. Look at proper Daredevil, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's all along the same station, man. Could you, if you did a movie, let's say you gave a movie to Quentin Tarantino and you gave him, say, Superman. Let's give him Superman. Okay, now let's break this down. You've got a guy, Lex Luthor, who wants to kill a superhuman being. All right. How in detail, you've seen everybody's seen the movies of how Lex Luthor, I'm going to get a robot. Oh, I'm just going to make him weak with kryptonite. And then I'm going to stash him somewhere and experiment on him. No. Let's go the route of what he would, he can already got a piece of his blood. He just wants to annihilate, destroy Superman. Can you imagine how in detail somebody like Quentin Tarantino could take this? How in detail the graphic violence could be towards Superman.
Yeah.
Or the graphic violence towards the world that we're not seeing because it's all fluffed out in DC and Marvel movies. If you took the same graphic violence, the same realism that they're showing in something like The Boys and put that in a major motion picture of Marvel and DC, the closest you get to that is Deadpool because that's just his character. Yeah. It's not like Marvel's like, hey, let's try this. No, it was Ryan Reynolds saying, hey, I got the money to make Deadpool exactly the way Deadpool is in the comic books. Now, here's the thing. Don't be mad at the comic books because this is exactly what they did back in the day with the comic books in the 90s. They did a million titles. They threw them against the wall. There was Sleepwalker. There was Darkhawk. There was all kinds of these slapstick. There was all kinds of crappy heroes. And they're and it was like, wow, $2 for this comic book? Really? Okay, well, it's number one. I should buy it. And it was the same thing. That's what they're doing. So now we've evolved to the stage of TV and movie. So we're getting this same level to all our Marvel movies, the same vibe, the same level, the same vibe to all our DC movies. We need somebody to step in there. And at what I see, we don't
mess it up.
I think it's like somebody at the hub of it, like Kevin Feige or somebody else says, oh, no. Oh, it's like what Darren said it's exactly like what Darren said when he was on the edge and he played Lagwagon. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
And Alan Cross was like, we're going to need you to come in on Lagwagon. That TPS report there.
Here's what we should do,
Kevin. Actually, it was funny.
Mr. Feige, if we could just get this director in and just do like a really gritty Spider-Man movie where we really get into his psycho emotion about everything and we get into the serious torture between him and the Green Goblin psychology-wise and how Gwen is used as a toy and it's just all close-up, blah, blah, and that's it. It's like a 2-hour story and boom. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean? Work. So I think, again, as I always mention, those two guys that just want their sushi who make, no, I don't know, Bill. I don't know, Bab. I don't know. I think if...
Well, Black Adam was pretty cool like that. Like they were, it was a bit violent.
A bit, but it's, I guarantee I guarantee it's not to the level of what I'm saying. The Boys.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
There's that station, dude. You can't go past that station, no matter what.
Deadpool can.
Pardon me?
Deadpool can.
Well, see, but he's the exception because Ryan Reynolds brought him in, and he kept him exactly the way he was in the comic book, exactly the way he was. Now, if we bring Wolverine in properly, and he's exactly the way he was in the comic book, Wolverine gets so berserker mad that he just starts killing people, and he won't calm down. He gets like a Hulk rage going, but he's cutting people's heads off. The closest we saw to that was in Logan, and I was like so excited to see a violent Wolverine. It was like, oh, that's it. All right. It was cool.
The girl was the star of that one, but it was good.
Great movie, dude. Great movie. But it said the big thing was you're going to see the final, you're going to see the feral Wolverine, right? And I didn't see that. But that's the thing about Wolverine. He should be just when he's done fighting a group of people in the room, it should be just a bloodbath. And to show that,
let me ask you that. Let me ask you that then about comics in general, because I mean, for me, obviously being a DC guy, I had some Fantastic Four, I had some Captain America, growing up, and some Spider-Man, but it was A Death in the Family, which was that first comic, and I had a lot of them, but it was Death in the Family was that first one where the Joker just literally beats the shit out of Robin. With the crowbar. And I remember reading that going, oh my God. And I hadn't anything in my collection at that point that was anywhere close to that. There was an action comic, Superman, where he was dark, and that got a little evil, but it never really got to that level. And that was the first one that I remember being like that and being kind of like, holy shit, it kind of crossed the line.
Totally,
and I'm wondering, did that exist? But did that exist before in something else?
Oh yeah, well that was the thing back in the Marvel day. They were killing characters off and they didn't come back all the time, right? That was like Bucky died, and it was like Bucky's dead, man. He's not
kill him off
back.
Violently though,
and then the 80s
like violently
came,
like
and then
that.
The 80s came, they started bringing them back. Sorry, what are you saying?
But like violently like that terribly violent, like where it was just crowbar and blood and guts everywhere flying. Like, do you remember it being something that was like that? Because that was the first one I had saw. You're way deeper in than I am.
Super
so
violent, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because there was
Wolverine issue. There was something. Or...
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to look that up because because there's also some scenes with like some female violence, man on female violence that when I'm reading back in the day, I remember being young, going, whoa, and it was a silhouette of it or something, or just like shown.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But the implications in the art, and sometimes that's even more with your imagination in there. You know what I mean? As a reader, kind of thing. You know, it's like, holy cow, look at that. That's really dark. But there are more. I just can't think of them off the top. There's a ton of them probably. I remember when Jean Grey got killed, the Phoenix in the comic book. I was like, oh my god, it was just so sad. It wasn't brutal and violent, but it was just like mind blowing as a kid. Just wow, they just killed Phoenix. Crazy.
Yeah, it's quite something as they go through because you're saying like burnout. Like I sent the kids to Wakanda yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't want to. I don't have 3 hours. I don't have 3 hours in me. And Black Panther was on the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have 3 hours in me. I was fine with Black Adam because I was like, I really want to see like a new DC thing. I want to kind of see what that was looking like. So I felt pretty good about that. But it's really got to do something to get me out.
Well, as I say, they're in this wedge here, buddy, and they need to pop above it or under it. Depends if they want to go more violent or they want to go more mental realistic, right? But they need to get more intense. You don't, like, I'm not saying you have to have heads being ripped off. You need to have, but you need something that's more intense than fighting. If you catch my drift on that, like the whole thing between Peter Parker / Spider-Man / Norman Osborn / the Green Goblin, right, was just brilliant. You get into that psychology and the mind blownness of each other, and you know, imagine learning that for the first time. That's incredible. It's like that was incredible, and the way that he used, and then once Green Goblin figured out who Spider-Man was, what did he do? He went for his loved one. He went for Gwen, man, the person that he cared about the most in the world.
Yeah.
And this is done back in the 60s, right? So this is or like early 70s, late 60s. So this is some breathtaking stuff back then. To have it done with that intensity by somebody who writes with that intent, not like we're going to get somebody in who works great with special effects, who can really, you know, have him swing across the buildings and check out this dazzling fight scene at the end. Woo! Nah, let's just go for the hits to the head where Peter Parker really.
You know how they're doing it too. You know, the other side of it too is that because they are keeping it to a low, dull roar. I am curious if it does set up the shock factor better, though.
Well, they just don't want to offend anybody, dude. They just don't want to offend anybody.
But when I watch my daughter watch anything that ties in any kind of emotion, she's all in. Like on Wakanda, she's like, I cried 3 times, and then like this, or like Tom Holland, like they better not kill him off. Like there's just this thing where it's fun for them, and so I kind of go, I wonder if they were to throw a wrench into it and actually, throw something of significance in, that it would, you're saying they don't want to offend, but my kids need that. I'm like, they need like a serious death. Like they need a serious, like to mess it all up, to show them the trueness. Cause there hasn't really been anything like that where a main character's gone. Maybe, I don't know, Stranger Things did it. Like, it's just so interesting.
Well,
and even Cobra Kai, which I love. I'm waiting, like, they've had 5 opportunities to really cause like an uproar. And I'm like, I know what they're trying to do because it's making money and they're carrying it on. But there was a kid that had a broken back. There was something else. They really could have like just left it and said, sorry, man, the kid fell off a railing and broke his back. He's dead. Right. And kids have been like, oh, because Degrassi did that. Remember Degrassi was like, Wheels is dead. What? You know what I mean? And like, what? And then he's just gone. And then this happened. And then the one kid committed suicide. And like that shit was like, it was over. Yeah. And I was only 12 or 10 when that shit came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have it enough in with the kids. Now, to your point, maybe they don't want to offend them or something, but they need a serious like shock, and I just don't know if they're going to get it.
The thing is that I think they need to pick an adult line of comic movies. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be the line of movies, Spider-Man and whatnot. I feel for the kids, and then take some of the other ones like a Wolverine movie that's taken a little more seriously, and get some of these really intense writers and producers in there and tempt them with something different. Say, hear me. I think this is a great opportunity to change the scope and the land of these comic book movies. Would you be interested in giving this a shot and putting your input into it? And you'd probably get some fantastic filmmakers in there, finally putting a twist in there. But I think they have to be written for adults, because I don't think you can do much more in the range for the kids that they've already done it. You know what I mean? The only thing they do is just make better graphics and stuff, because you're not making new characters to begin with anybody. You're using Spider-Man, you're using Batman, you're using Iron Man. Like, you know what I mean? So if they're not going to be creating new characters that they all like for the kids, they're not going to be doing anything too new story-wise. And that's fine. The kids, I love the fact that the kids know about Marvel stuff. I love it. I think it's great. But at the same time, Marvel, give us adults something, right? There's my 20-minute.
Well, you know what's funny though is that they have had to deal with this emotion of Chadwick Boseman dying,
Right.
you know, with the Black Panther, and that was like they were pretty choked about that.
That was thrust upon them too. They didn't write that.
And so they had to write it in, and Stan Smith was like, oh, like it was heavy for her because she loved it. So they did get a taste of like real life there, but it's like, you know, you're kind of like, you know, the way like Taylor Hawkins said, I'm like, that sucks.
Also,
you know,
another great
whatever.
example, dude, you know, is The Walking Dead. When The Walking Dead started becoming predictable is when people started hating it. Off the beginning, somebody could die, and it was like, whoa, they just killed that guy.
Well, that's why I
And
loved
it would
it.
happen like
Well,
that sometimes, right?
The girl, the daughter in the barn.
Oh,
I remember
brilliant.
Lee's reaction. Her reaction to the daughter in the barn. I'll never forget. Like, it was just like what? Like, it was just the most shocking thing, because that was really intense when that happened, man.
Hey, Par, what's up, buddy?
That was really
intense.
intense.
I think that's what had The Walking Dead. People stopped watching because it became predictable. But when it first came out, man, and there's even Talking Dead that was after.
I know, and that was cool. And then that guy got that guy got in trouble, right? And now he's back.
Yeah, because he was being so mean. I guess he's a real piece of shit to everybody. But yeah. Anyway, so
we're gonna talk some Simpsons.
Yeah,
today.
that's just Marvel. You studios, you got to start getting some movies out for us adults. Keep them coming for the kids, but come on, man. I've been a Marvel supporter since I was like 6 years old. The Simpsons. Yay!
We're going to talk some Simpsons characters and sort of like favorite Simpsons episodes of all time, things like that. You know, obviously a beloved show that's been on forever and ever and ever and doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Not to mention all the shit that they've predicted that's come true and all the rest of it. So we thought we'd just spend a little bit of time on it. Chris came up with this idea of like, we should talk Simpsons, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I haven't really done that in a while.
Now here's another one that so this show started. We're going to talk about maybe the first 7 seasons, okay?
Yeah.
Now here's another show that, in my opinion, it became too well. This became so. First, you start off. Now let's look at it this way. I'm looking at these episodes. I started watching it again, right? And the episodes aren't about anything. It's that Seinfeld scenario. All right, it's like, you know, Homer loses his job. You know, Bart gets a job. There's so many they lose their dog. It's not like these big, like nowadays, I think Simpsons go to Jamaica and then they meet somebody and this great big jewelry heist happens or something. Back in the day, it was so simple, the storylines. And it was the characters that spun the gold. It was just the smart little dialogue. And in my opinion, Family Guy's picked up and does what the early Simpsons stuff does, cranks it up to 15, but does that exact same thing still. Whereas the Simpsons tried to evolve. All right. So in the beginning, some of those episodes were just so simple, but the little quips in behind them and the way the characters would rebound off just conversations, small conversations, was the best part of that show. The voices were amazing. It's like Mark Groening must have had a great time just saying, all right, here's my universe. I'm creating, and here's my town, Springfield, all these great characters. And it really hurts that people are getting like a poo. People are offended by a poo, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, Alex, that's funny. My little guy is going to come down and talk for a minute. And he wants to talk about like his favorite stuff. And he's like, should I do my Apu? And I'm like, 2 years ago, I would have told you to do your Apu, but you can't. Like you can't, like you can and you can't for the same reasons that it got canceled. Like everyone gets offended. It's like you can't have a little white kid do an Indian kid. Like it's a thing, right? So it's like, okay,
like it's from Big Bang Theory, man. Asian, Big Bang Theory. It's not racist if it's a beloved Simpsons character.
Yeah, it's just so funny. I just like It's because he does a great Apu.
Well, I think he should do
And I
it.
was just, you know what I mean. So
I think he should
yeah,
do it.
we'll dive into it. So
I'm trying to. I did a Mickey.
he's gonna come down
I
and
did a Mickey Mouse imitation last week. Remember that? Oh, it's Mickey Mouse.
well,
Did it again.
we didn't hear from any of the mouse people.
Oh, you will.
So I think it was fine.
Maybe I should have said
think
something
it was
raunchy
fine.
in his voice.
That's right. It was funny. I was listening. I want to go back one sec. You were talking about like the guys in the room that are like, oh, we need to do this or we need to do that. I was listening to the Dana Carvey and David Spade podcast, and they had Al Franken on. And Al Franken about that 85 to like 90 Saturday Night Live. And they were talking about Spade would come on to Weekend Up Late with Dennis Miller. And they would always push the agenda on the censor stuff. And Dave Spade would be like, I'm on the air right now, and I'm going to go afterwards, and I'm going to go get some pussy, you know, and stuff like that. And Dennis Miller would be like, hey there, Spud, you're about to get canned, because the censor guys are going to come after you. And they got these big laughs. So you couldn't be too funny because that meant everyone heard it. Mm-hmm. And then you would get censored. And so Spade was telling a story about they would always try to slip in pussy as wherever they could, but they would be like, I'm going to go get some pussy after the show. Like they would do it like this, and get everyone really, really, and every now and again they drop it in and everyone would lose it. And then the censor people would come and Lauren would come and be like, you can't do that. And, now you can't do certain things. But it's funny because back then you couldn't say like penis or vagina, but you could say throbbing and moist. Right. And now you can't say those two, but you can say penis and vagina. It's just so funny. And then speaking of the Simpsons movie, and they made a big deal about Bart running around naked. Because Bart's little wang was flying around everywhere or something. And they're like, you can't do that. It's the Simpsons and it's a cartoon wang or something. And it's just funny that like what Family Guy has gotten away with versus what the Simpsons haven't been able to get away with is night and day. Because to your point, what McFarlane's been able to write on Family Guy and get away with, like just Quagmire alone, he's like the modern day Al Bundy meets Jack Tripper. You know what I mean? Like, they just get away with it all the time. Yeah. Maybe they just put a budget in to pay for all the fines. I'm not sure, but the Simpsons.
I don't know either. Fox must really protect them. And he hates being on Fox too, which is really funny. But yeah,
I don't even know how much he's involved in the show anymore. It's kind of funny because I think they've got like a voice generator for him now. I think they've got I don't think he's even involved. He created it, and now it's new writers. I don't even know if he's voicing anything anymore. I think they've got enough Peter in the bank. They've got enough of everybody that they can just do it without him.
Everybody wants some Peter in the bank.
Okay. Simpsons wise, where do you want to start? Do you want to go with like some episodes? We got Ash.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, Ashley, hi. How you doing there, friend? The Simpsons walk so Family Guy could run. What a great point. Nice work, Ash. We agree.
We got a family.
Nicely done. Family Guy has always been more explicit, in my opinion. Yes. Yes, they were, and I think that's what made it. I think that's what made it so great. I still love Family Guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's still some.
For sure.
There's still some episodes I'm like, because the kids are, can I watch that? I'm like, I gotta watch it first. Because there's a couple things in there that are like, I'm not sure.
But like the guest stars on The Simpsons, get back to Simpsons. The guest stars on The Simpsons have always been a real kind of cool thing to, who's going to be in there next. But one of my favorites was Danny DeVito when he played Homer's brother. And he created that car. And then he eventually came back, which was great. But because when he goes, oh my gosh, because they don't usually come back again when they do a guest star appearance, right?
No.
It'd be nice.
Well, the one guy that did who's the guy that died, the saxophone guy that Lisa liked?
Oh yeah, but I mean like a major star. He wasn't a very big star.
Okay, yeah. Well, he was, but Michael Jackson, right? Did the voice, but he died. He ends up dying, and Lisa loses him. But I think Michael Jackson was on a few times.
Oh, okay, that was actually Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it was actually Michael Jackson. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah,
Bleeding Gum Murphy. Yeah,
very. Bleeding Gums Murphy. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Ash. We knew you'd have it. So who did you like then?
Danny DeVito. I thought that whole episode was just fantastic, right? I just also watched the one where Milhouse always got me. See, there's so many the episodes. It's just crazy. My favorite episode of all time, I think, is the pool episode when Bart broke his leg. I just loved that episode. I thought that was so smart. It was.
Oh yeah, because they're all like in the pool,
The
and
whole
he
story
can't
is they
go,
get a
and he's gotta
pool.
watch.
That's the story.
Yeah.
They get a pool, and then stuff happens around, right? Like it's just
Yeah, because he's watching Flanders, and Flanders is bearing
it's to
something
take
in
off
the
a
back,
rear
maybe.
view window, Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And at the very end, little dude gets pants there, and it's like a summer breeze comes rolling in from across the sea. Just brilliant.
Oh yeah,
That,
with the
so that writing to me, the writing on that episode to me was mint from the beginning. From the Easter, see, I love Easter eggs as well, right? And the Easter eggs throughout that whole thing in the very end, summer wind comes blowing in. Martin got his. Was it Martin? Yeah, Martin got his pants dropped.
The summer wind.
That's my favorite episode. Tied possibly with the lemon tree. Oh, the lemon tree. Millhouse finds the other mill. Is this
Shelbyville?
what it sounds like when doves cry? Oh my! Another just the writing is brilliant. Okay, somebody steals a tree from the Simpsons from Springfield. Sorry, yeah. Somebody
takes it to Shelbyville.
Shelbyville steals. This is almost a tongue twister. A lemon tree from Springfield. Yeah, that's your episode, and then hilarity ensues. Like again, one of my all-time favorite episodes. It may be tied with that one.
Here's mine.
Oh, that's such a good one. That was Hank Evan's favorite one too, right?
Hank Scorpio. I mean, come on.
Who did his voice?
It was Mel Brooks. It was Mel Brooks, and it was great because they. One of my favorite lines that I still use it once a year is the hammock district. Well, you've got hammocks on Maine. You got a hammock on something hammock. In fact, they're all down in the hammock district or whatever. It's just the best line. And there's just the whole premise of Homer getting a new job, moving towns. Kind of busy right now, Homer. How can I help you? You know, like
Homer gets transferred to a new job. But that's the basis of the story. And then all you use is the characters. I love it. Oh, it's brilliant. It's like Seinfeld, right?
If you could kill someone on the way out, that'd be
really helpful. Yeah, brilliant. See, and then you use the characters. What a great character Hank Scorpio is as well. So many sound bites.
And Marge, like this with the wine. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh man.
Right, she's got nothing to do. She's got an automated house. I mean, come on. That's just the best. That's my favorite episode.
Right? Yeah. I dived the two. How would you say no go? Yeah, there's so many. How many times do you like how many times have I said yoink when I went to take,
all the time.
Yoink.
All the time. Yoink, it's just the craziest thing, and there's just so much from that time frame that we pull, and there's so many episodes. Like if you go back, you just Nelson, and he beats up Homer. This is for wasting the teacher's time. He's just pounding his shit.
Oh, so good.
Who can forget this one?
Oh my gosh, all those baseball players in there. Daryl. And he cries, right?
And he cries.
Don't worry, they're professionals. They can take it, Lisa.
Wade Boggs. And then what's his head? Is it Mark McGuire's head, or somebody's head just keeps expanding because he's just taking somebody's steroids?
Ken Griffey or Don? Was it Don Mattingly on the other side there or whatever?
Don Mattingly. Yeah, Don Mattingly. Ken Griffey Jr., Roger Clemens, Daryl Strawberry, Wade Boggs, and then there was a few. I'd have to go back into it. I think Mattingly, and then somebody's. Yeah, it's awesome. That was great. And then Homer gets hit in the head with the ball and wins the game. Like, just awesome stuff, man. Yeah, there was some cool ones. Obviously.
Oh, the monorail one. I call the big one Bitey.
Yeah, this one is ranked the best of all time. This episode.
That's a good episode. Yeah, and The Shining.
This one.
See the Easter eggs, right? Actually, the Easter eggs are mint. And The Shining episode was great. There was another. I saw another Easter egg in a Shining one in The Simpsons as well. The monorail, that one there, that is one of my favorites.
They did that one. What else can we go? I mean, geez, there was when Flanders loses it.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
You know what I mean?
Flanders, again, what a great character.
Oh, diddly.
Do you know why they killed off Maude?
Diddly. Why did they kill off Maude?
Do you know why they killed off Maude?
Good question. I used to know this, but I don't.
Well, the actress, the voice actress wanted more money and was going to go on strike. So they're like, oh, okay.
kill her off.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone needs to get more money, it's
And then there's Maud. And then
Weirdly
there's
Smith.
Maud.
yeah. It's oh
The
my
Luke
God.
Skywalker
That was
one was
such a
great too, and Luke Skywalker because he played Luke Skywalker so well when he ran away. Oh man,
yeah.
that's another one I
And
like
they
to
built
use.
it-
And the only one that gets it is my wife. All right, I'm going to the store.
And they do, yeah. And there's that. There's again, that was the thing that you would tune in for. Would also be all the guest stars, right? And who they would be, like to
Homer,
your
man.
point. And I mean, geez, when they did this one here, who killed Mr. Burns? Who
yes.
shot Mr. Burns? Like, oh my God, there was just such a great
And the Halloween
such a
specials
great
became monumental as well. They were always really, really
Treehouse
fun,
of Horrors.
Treehouse of Terrors. That's just great stuff, man.
and Itchy and Scratchy, which were a take on Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Which was like, we would tune in to watch what Itchy and Scratchy they were putting on. So they were getting us to tune in for a cartoon within a cartoon. I mean, it's pretty smart. I don't think anything was doing that at that time.
No, as I was saying, like
pretty
there was
smart.
some real smart writing going on back then. You know what? Like again, just taking nothing and really making some writing out. Do you remember the movie one? Football in the groin had football in the groin. The parties had beer.
Yeah. Fallout Boy.
Oh, Fallout Boy, yeah.
Look what came out of Fallout
Radioactive
Boy,
Man, Fallout Boy.
a giant band.
That
A
one where
giant band came out of
the
the
comic book
Simpsons.
episode is again one of my all-time favorites because they get the #1 issue of Radioactive Man and they just can't agree to it. When your little boys
And that guy at the comic book store.
it's just
The guy at the comic book store is like every comic book store guy, Yes, you will not be getting that today. That's just his lines.
Wait, just with the sideburns. I'd say Millhouse. So, like, if I was to go outside of the Simpsons family, my favorite character is Millhouse. So
that's
many
an
funny
interesting
things,
one.
the flood.
Well, he was deep. He was deep because the parents split, and we had to deal with that arc. Like when can I borrow a feeling?
What do you say, Luann? Will you take me back? Oh no.
No. And he's drinking at the hotel. He's like in the pool, smashing shit. It's like
I love Millhouse. Millhouse was great.
But he had to deal with so much stuff. He like has a crush on Lisa and like.
And Maggie, of course. So little things other little things that made me laugh my head off. Well, why don't we bring Maggie down to the park there? No, Maggie doesn't get along with the other babies. Remember the one with the one with the one eyebrow? And then the baby comes by with the one eyebrow. Dun, dun, dun. You know what I mean? And Maggie's like looking out like, oh man. They make Maggie a badass without her saying anything, and she ends up being the one that shoots Mr. Burns too.
Right, and then Ashley, he wants to borrow a feeling. Yes, yeah. Ashley. But to Ashley's point about the what do you call it? The Simpsons paved the way to Family Guy. So then Homer took that one step further every time he fights the chicken. Peter. I mean, every time he fights the chicken, right? And then doesn't he actually have a fight with Peter? Don't they actually have a scrap?
Who, Homer?
Peter and
yeah,
Homer.
They did
a crossover
because they go to Springfield.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing where they're together. I gotta watch that properly. But another one coming back to me is where I didn't do it. Where Bart becomes the I didn't do it boy. My boy's a box. My boy's a box. He brings my boy. Hey, there's my hat. Oh my God.
Australia. I'll take a milk.
Oh, dude, that is such a good episode.
Yeah,
hey, let's go, buddy.
Look what we got here.
Nice.
This is Charlie the Wise. Look at this guy making an appearance in here.
Say the line,
hi,
Charlie. Say the line.
Say the line. Oh, how you doing, bud? How are we doing in there? He's getting all big. Look at this guy.
He's getting large and in charge.
He's large and in charge. He's a big boy.
Puppy.
Oh yeah.
He looks like stop it.
He's like, I don't want to do that.
Had him in the full Nelson there.
Here, Alex. Let's go in.
Alex gonna come in here and talk about.
He's gonna come in for a minute and talk a little Simpsons. Just come on in and sit down on the lap there, bud.
Hi, Alex. How's it
You
going,
can hear
buddy?
everything?
Yeah. Good.
So this guy's a massive Simpsons fan.
I love it. Okay, well let's give Alex some time then. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, massive Simpsons fan. So we're gonna talk about. We've been talking about our favorite episodes, and I love the Hank Scorpio one. You know, have you seen a Hank Scorpio one? You know, when he goes in there and he's like, if you could kill someone on the way out, Homer would be a big help. And Chris loves Millhouse. And Ashley, sweet baby Jesus, hello puppers. Yep. Yeah, that's Charlie the Wise. So anyways, Alex has been rocking The Simpsons for a couple of months now, almost every episode. So what's your favorite episode of The Simpsons?
I don't know.
You got to talk into the mic though.
Okay.
Like, what's your favorite one? Is it one of the early ones? Is it one of the new ones? Because we've only really covered up to season 8.
I like.
So what's like?
I had 2. I like the. Well, there's so many I like, but I like the lemon tree and the pool episode where he breaks his leg. Those were so good. And now I'm thinking the hockey one was so good as well, right? But go ahead, Alex. You can throw a few out there. You don't have to just pick one.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite
ones that you like?
I don't know.
Didn't we talk about this? Didn't you have a whole
he
thing?
He secretly hates The Simpsons. He's just doing what he's
like, oh no, I don't really like The Simpsons. I don't really like. Okay, what about the baseball episode? That was a good one, right?
Yeah.
It hits Homer in the head. I like Hank Scorpio the best. That one's really cool. Remember, he has to kill somebody on the way out, and then the monorail.
Yeah.
Remember the monorail one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
one was fun.
what do you remember about that one?
A monorail is built, and that guy is like crazy, and he convinces the whole town to build a monorail, and then it goes crazy, and Homer and Bart are inside, and they have to like steer it away from, or like stop it from going off the track.
Talking to the mic.
Monorail.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a funny one. Okay, and then we're going to get into, and what about this one? What do you remember from this episode?
Oh, that's when Ned goes crazy because his house was destroyed in the hurricane.
His is the only house that was destroyed in a hurricane.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he's the religious guy that believes in God like crazy, and then he's the only house, and then what do?
They rebuild his house, but it's different. And
it's your master bedroom.
I'm pretty sure this wall's not right, or whatever the line is. He goes, and I'm pretty sure you're a jerk. There's some good ones in there. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Hey, Spock, what do you want in your hot dog? All right. So, keeping with that theme, man, we won't keep you any longer there, Alex. But if you had to look at these characters, who is your favorite Simpsons character then? If you had to pick one.
I don't know, probably Willie.
You like
Willie?
Willie the groundskeeper.
Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some great lines too, right? He's got some great lines in there. What about Nelson or Millhouse?
No.
Don't like those guys.
No.
I like the nerdy ones. I like Martin too.
No. Nelson's just no.
What about Martin? Remember Martin with the pool?
Oh yeah.
You bet my Wookiee.
They pantsed him. Remember?
That was the best of it.
Yeah.
But I remember back in the day when they very first came out, and you know when I was young, because me being a big Star Wars geek and collecting the toys, they do the big science contest or whatever, and Martin has Star Wars action figures in the original packaging. We got Chewie, Obi-Wan, all my favorites. We have a winner. And then he's collecting like the Star Wars guys in the original packaging, and they actually tried to draw them similar. And then he falls on them at the end. Oh, I bet my Wookiee. Just gold. Just the scenes. Right?
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite Simpsons line? What's your favorite Simpsons line? Like one of your characters, like use. I like.
I begged you.
I like the.
I begged you to do my
okay. Well, actually, Chris wants you to do your Apu.
Dude, I just did Uter.
You got to do.
I begged you to show mine first. I begged you.
I beg you. Yeah. So we got to do your Apu. You got to do your Apu now on. So
sure won't get taken down.
We might get taken down. But
you'll be fine. I just did a German folk, and the Germans I'm sure are fine with that.
And the Germans aren't going to be there. Come here, you. So what does Apu say when you walk into the store?
I don't know.
Pressure's on.
my leg.
No, he doesn't say anything. Yeah, that's what he says.
Let's hear your Apu then. Here we go.
No. I don't want it to get taken down.
If it gets taken down, it's not going to offend anybody. But anyways.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's good. All right, let's hear what you got. Let's hear Apu. Maybe Chris talk to him, and then you can answer him.
Hey,
like Apu.
What's going on?
What do you got there, Rat Alex?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Come again. That's the easiest
I
one.
don't want it to get taken down.
That's fine if it gets taken down. All right. Well, you're out.
All right. Bye, Alex.
What do you say?
Thank you.
How do you say it as Apu?
Thank you. Come again.
Oh, there's some Apu for us.
There's Charlie. Charlie the Wise. He's going to go up and... you going out for a walk? Yeah.
Bye,
going for a
Charlie the
walk.
Wise. He's out.
Woo!
He's out of there.
You're gone. That's right.
Big boy now.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Go. Yeah, there's so much. I never found. Like I don't know. See, I have thick skin. I guess I didn't get offended by too much stuff on the TV. I get more offended by watching news stuff. That jacks me up a little more than seeing what
The news? Oh, yeah.
Than
Absolutely.
cartoons and stuff like that. And there's cartoons I don't
Yeah.
like. Not like they really offend me, but they're it's just like I think they suck. But
Comedies. I don't care what people say about things. People got all uppity about Dave Chappelle and stuff, and I'm gonna walk this carefully. But comedy is one of those things where, and I think Ricky Gervais and a bunch of them have said it best. It's like comedy. You should be able to make fun of everything, and then, and as long as it's within the parameters of this story that you're trying to tell. And I just think that like smart comedy, should be recognized.
Mhm.
And I just don't get offended by shit. Like, I mean, don't get offended by anything. I don't know. I just don't get offended by anything. And I actually want them to see how far they can push it. Like Big Mouth. Have you watched Big Mouth before?
no.
On Netflix? You'd love that show. That's Nick Kroll.
Oh yeah,
And it's
I've
like-
heard that's a good show. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
And it's just him, and it's his hormones that follow him around.
That's funny.
You got to get up in there, buddy. It's just insane,
That is
and they
funny.
just go so far. I can't believe.
But it's a weird thing because I choose you. That's a good one, and it's got a train. I'm picturing the Card Not Old episode. It's
there's some good
people
ones.
people get more offended now about a casual show or a casual conversation than it seems an actual event that's happening in the world, which blows my mind. But that's the world we live in. The Simpsons has predicted a lot of wild stuff, though, eh, buddy? Like Donald Trump becoming the president.
In 2024, they had when they go to New York with the Twin Towers falling. There's so many, and I actually tried to find like a complete list from top to bottom online today. And it's tough. There's tons of them, but they're not really laid out in like a nice readable area. So unless I type it up or do something, but man, they predicted so many things. They predicted coronavirus. They had coronavirus in there.
I meant,
they
yeah,
had Ashley.
yeah.
Ashley, you might know a few if you're listening. I mean, there was so many predictions in there if you guys remember them, but there was so many different things that they got right. And it's funny, but that's the beauty about the smartness of the show. I was thinking about that today when we were talking about Simpsons and going down this road, because they would have had to kind of it's like looking at things now. And who is like a big player in New York, or who's a big player in LA, or who's a big player in Minnesota? Because they got like random senators from Minnesota and like Arkansas, and they got them. So it's like looking at these people and what the positions are currently right now. Well, that guy is the secretary of this person, but he's probably going to be this and this. Oh, I'll bet you in like 16 years that guy is going to be the this of the this. Let's put it into the show, and they fucking get it right. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. You have to go so far down, or have somebody on staff that is so smart about that shit. Hey, we need somebody in 8 years that's going to be president. Oh, it's going to be fucking Larry, or whatever. Put him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. The I find Conan O'Brien. You can't go wrong with a Conan O'Brien episode.
No way. It's the best. He's so smart.
I find his are above all the rest. You can tell when he stopped being involved. And another funny thing is when Homer's pupils seem a little larger, those ones are always are hilarious as well in the early first 7. Well, I found the first 7 seasons were really untouchable. They're just brilliant. There's probably some good ones after that too. I'm sure there are, but I was really just watching the first 7 seasons, and I was having so much fun watching them again. So many good memories. And I'd say it was just the little things that happened in the shows that really really made me laugh. You know, what are you gonna do? Let out your dogs or the bees or the killer dogs that have bee that shoot bees or whatever? You know, so just the little things that are so friggin' funny, man.
And the cops, like the police, you know, and how dumb
Oh,
they are.
Wiggum.
Wiggum is like, well, we can't do that there, boys. You know, it's like, but they're just
So it's
dumb.
fine. So you can portray the police as being total morons, and you can portray the mayor as being, you know, a crooked womanizer.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, do not have, you know, the wrong person running a quickie mart.
I know. And
anyway,
that's
sorry. Just
I know.
Wiggum,
I
what
totally,
a great character
I'm totally
Wiggum
with.
is. I didn't
totally
mean.
with
I'm
you.
sorry. It just kind of blew my mind there. I'm thinking of things as we're talking.
No, Wiggum's great. I mean,
Wiggum's amazing. He's so funny, right? And
Oh.
he always looking at feels bad for his son there and stuff.
So how far bake them away toys.
Bake them away, toys. Bake them away.
So okay, how do we feel about it continuing? You haven't seen anything new. Ashley, you can weigh in here.
I haven't you know what? I haven't watched a new episode in the past at least 5 years. At least 5 years.
It must do the business. Like it must, because
Right.
they just keep renewing it.
I think parents are passing it down to their kids, possibly.
But he's binging it. Like Alex is binging it. So he'll go and binge it, but he won't sit down on a Sunday and watch a new episode. He's binging all the old stuff. And then he's kind of getting caught up and then stopping. And then he'll watch the new season when it comes out. He's actually not watching live TV right now. It's all binging. Yeah. So that's an interesting one to me. Mm-hmm. I do wonder if it's going to end up going down that road, you know, and it's not what it was, so I don't watch it anymore. Yeah, so there you go, Ash. So she's echoing that. So maybe it's just the new woke culture doesn't accept it or something. I'm not sure, but it's interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I threw on the old ones, and if you are a Gen Xer, or even if you're not, and you watched it growing up, man, it's good. It's just the one-liners are just, and get ready to remember them for when you go to work or you go to parties or whatever, or you're seeing your buddies, because, man.
Well, look what we just did here. We just did like an hour of all the stuff that we, you know, like I can rhyme off 5 lines from Hank Scorpio. I can
when you hit me up,
you know.
Well, you hit me up because you were at the Simpsons place in Florida or whatever, right? And then I thought, oh man, Simpsons, I missed them, and I threw on a couple episodes, and then I was right back in. It was just like, oh my god, and I thought we should do an episode, and then you were like, well, we should sketch it out, and I was like, you know, what should we? You're asking what should we do? And I was like, oh man, we'll just throw the ball, man, and we'll talk. And that's all you need for that. What a great subject, because that's all you need is just throw the ball, my friend.
Yeah, and that's when you go to Universal Studios. That's the first thing you walk into, Simpsons Land. So right. Alex, his head was like, you know, he was on the spot and all nervous. But I mean, that kid can go on for an hour, you know. But the Simpsons, and he'd just sit there, and he went to every little thing. He knew every nook and cranny. Oh, this is from this episode, and there's Moe's Tavern. Well, I tried to video you in from Moe's Tavern.
Yeah, I was outside in the garage doing something.
Yeah.
I remember that though. Yeah,
but it was fun. So. Anyways, an incredible show, and obviously it's going to come to an end, I think, likely soon. Your favorite character is Milhouse?
Other than The Simpsons, yeah. Homer's my favorite. On the first 7 seasons, or first 7 seasons, easily, like Homer by far. And, my secondary character, I guess it would be, right? Your supporting actor, would be Milhouse for sure for me.
You know what's interesting, because if you actually listen, and it's a subtle, tiny little thing, but if you listen to that first season of The Simpsons, I mean, he didn't have Homer's kind of like thing down yet. Like it was sort of like a bit more boopity boopity boo kind
I think that's what made it so much fun too, right?
Right, but that first episode, but then he dialed in season 2, 3, 4, and I think that he got. It's like Seinfeld. You know, that first season is fine, but like when you get into like 3 and 4, like forget it. Unstoppable. You know what I mean? Unstoppable writing, unstoppable, like just undeniable and incredible. So,
Beans.
Actually, I agree. It did have a damn fine run.
Come on, Beans.
So, anyways, what's next for you, my man? What are you up to outside of doing some artwork? How's Skeletron coming along?
Good. I just got to get it printed. It's just my wife was not feeling well over the weekend. She controls the printing, so there was a lot of stuff we wanted to get done over the weekend. We didn't, so we're behind a bit here. There's issue 1, so the reprint of that's coming out. There's issue 2, it's still for sale. A couple of those left. Got a couple of those left as well. Gotta
Yeah,
get
make
back
sure
in
you
there. I
guys-
gotta get it printed off, sent out, do the deals.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you can, friends.
Yeah.
For however long of life it has, which it could be ending any day. Who knows? Just with Elon Musk in charge now, we don't know how that's going to go. But it's a mess over there right now. But this still seems to be broadcasting on there, so we'll do that. Make sure you follow us all over there. We really appreciate it. Also, while you're at it, we got a fancy website, and it's called kidsontheescalator.com. And over there, you can find the video, you can find all the stuff, past episodes, and all the things that we've been up to the last little bit. You're going to show Beans? There's Darth Beans right there. Hello, Beans. I should have had Charlie down here at the same time. He would have been freaking out. Look at that look. Now, that's a beautiful cat right there. That's just like my favorite kind of cat.
That's Beans. That's Darth Beans. He followed me home one day, folks, and he's got a chip in his ear. And whoever was the owner of that said, not only is that not my cat, I effing hate cats. I'm going to be censoring myself.
And you got Matt Murray back from the Toronto Maple Leafs, which I should have picked up last week in my pool, and I didn't. And he's had 2 wins, which is great. I actually dropped Samson off today. But I think you're going to see the Leafs go on a little run here now, too.
They're on right now. It's on in the next room there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go check it out and have a couple tacos, my friend, with Beans. Beans is going to come with me.
Tacos are good. Tacos are good. That is the Kids on the Escalator podcast for another week, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week. And I think we're going to go back to the overrated, underrated series. I think we're going to try to get our pal Darren back on and another guest from a big heavy metal band. And we are going to kind of get into most overrated and most underrated heavy metal bands of all time. I think that's going to be a rad one. So that should be fun. Be sure to tune in. Thanks to our friends at deanblundell.com. Thank you to listener Ashley. Thanks for
Ashley.
For the comments. And Par, thanks so much for checking in as well.
Yeah, buddy.
And,
Thanks, Mom and Dad, for watching. Woo! They're watching. Well, my mom is.
Gracious
My dad's
Gary.
watching the game.
Dangerous Dorothy, as always. Awesome to have you along for the ride. That's us. Good times.
Rad cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Cheers.